Hi, I'm Chris from Web Motorworks. Today I'm going to talk about regenerative braking. So that's what I have in my electric 32 Haze here. And Teslas and other electric vehicles, they all have the same thing. So what exactly is and how does it work? Well, essentially, we've got a generator here, and I've got an alternator. And they're more or less, as this spins around, they generate electricity. And you arguably could make an electric motor out of this alternator. Instead of spinning it and having electricity, you run electricity into it and the shaft spins. So, you know, it's kind of amazing with these alternators and generators and electric motors. It's like, how do they work? And it's all to do with Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Voltage can be induced in a coil of wire if you move that coil through a magnetic field. Okay, well, I got these two tiny little magnets here, right? If I put them together like that, see that? I cannot pull these apart. Honestly, I cannot pull them apart. If you slide them, you can kind of pull them apart. And another cool thing is, I just made this little thing, a wooden dowel, and you put this magnet down on here like this, and this other one will go up and down on top of it like that. Now look, I'm pushing on this magnet, and there's not a spring on there. That's a magnetic field. So that's how all this works, is this unbelievable magnetic field. And that's how, you know, on the braking and that, even trains use an electromagnetic field to brake the trains. There's such huge mass. And if they used brake shoes and that type of thing, sparks would be flying. They just use electromagnetic force, and that force stops the train. There's no wearing out parts. There's no parts touching each other. It's all through magnets. These magnets are so strong. I throw that on the fender. I can't even get it off the fender. So because this is a rat rod, I don't mind scratching the paint. I want a little bit of patina on it. So you see how I move this magnet on there? And it's so strong, it actually scratches all the paint off there. Oh, that looks good. I like that patina. Hey, Lennox, you gonna help Grandpa with his movie? I need you going up a hill. It looks a little sketchy. Maybe we'll stick to a little toy. So let's do a little demonstration of how this regenerative braking works. So we got our little electric truck here, and he's using electricity to drive up this hill. He gets to the top of the hill. Once he's at the top of the hill, he's got potential energy there. Just like in a roller coaster. A roller coaster doesn't have motor in the roller coaster. It just goes by gravity. And it's kinetic energy. So the potential energy converts to kinetic energy as it starts rolling down the hill like that. Not to worry. We put them right back together again like Humpty Dumpty. So what exactly is happening when this truck's at the top of the hill? The current in the motor drops to zero as no more torque is requested. This truck starts rolling downhill, forcing the motor to turn over. And once the counter electromotive force exceeds the voltage of the battery, the motor becomes a generator actually. And the current will invert. In other words, it'll change direction. And then that'll force power into the battery. And the battery recharges, and as a generator, it develops counter torque. And it's kind of like, it's almost like it's making the electric motor go in reverse. It's not, it's still moving in the same direction. But remember those forces of those magnets? It's actually pushing on this motor, trying to slow it down. But the electromagnetic force is actually acting as a brake. And it's also generating electricity. Okay, this regenerative braking, it's a pretty cool thing. And one of the things is you don't wear out your brakes. You're not putting your brakes on all that long. So you probably get 2 or 3 times the length of your brakes than you would on a normal gas car. And so how efficient is it actually? Well, it's about 70% efficient because of you know, you've got gravity and you've got heat generated and friction, you know, all these things take away from it. It's not perpetual motion. So the little old lady from Pasadena sitting up on the hill's like, oh, I'm going to drive down to the grocery store and I'm going to get my groceries and then come back up and I'll never have to recharge my car because I could just keep going up and down. Now, that doesn't work. But there is actually something really interesting. Now, in Switzerland, there's this truck. It's actually the largest truck in the world, and they converted the diesel motor to electric. So it's pretty cool. That huge electric truck generates about 200 kilowatt hours going down the hill 20 times a day. That's really quite amazing. And how it does it is it goes up light, well, 45 tons isn't that light, puts 65 tons on top. So, you know, there's kinetic energy used to put this on. There's a big digger or a machine putting it in. So it is actually using kinetic energy from another source, but not from this truck, right? So Newton's law, potential energy equals mass times gravitational force times height above the ground. So the gravitational force and height above the ground stayed the same, but the mass increased it. And that is why we've got higher potential energy, that increase of mass. And now it's going down, the magnetic fields forcing each other. Remember that regenerative braking thing? Yeah, it's really quite amazing. So, you know, we can figure out kilowatt hours and all that type of stuff, how much we're saving and how many miles extra we get to go. But for you gas guys out there, let's figure out gas, okay? So let's just say you got your truck and this is a 50-mile hill you're coming up and you're getting 5 miles to the gallon, say. So you're using 10 gallons coming up this hill. And then when you coast down to the bottom, you're not using any gas, but there's a magic thing that actually put gas back in your car and you'd end up with 7 extra gallons. And of course, when you're on the straight stretch, you could probably go more than 5 miles to the gallon going on a straight stretch. So you gain an extra 50 miles out of it. That's not too bad for free. So that's all pretty interesting stuff. Thanks a lot for watching my video, and I'll probably do a few more videos in the coming months or so. Talk to you soon.